What's up, yeah? Oh, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to A Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Today we're talking about the top muscle growth supplements, baby. Supplements. Everything you need to know about supplements and growth. But first,
update. I don't think we have any update, y'all.
I gained another 2 pounds, so 219. The bulk's going good. We're getting a little fluffy though, so I'm probably going to pump the brakes here soon.
Yeah, my Biggest Losers with my sister-in-law is going pretty good. I was down 3 pounds this week, so off to a strong start. This week's the gauntlet though, because I have Thanksgiving, so we'll see how I navigate that.
Yeah. It's off season. We're coming into off season. Everybody's bulking in the wintertime. Kylie, what's up? So get ready to get your growth on. Get ready to get your bulk on for the season, baby.
Yeah. For any other updates?
That's probably it. But we're about to tell you what supplements to take to get big.
Yeah. So for those of you that are new to our channel, 88 Fitness Training is all about how to make those gains. So we specialize in introductory and tutorial videos on how to do different exercises and how to maximize and really optimize those exercises for gains. So we have tons of playlists that you can look through. We've broken them up into different muscle groups. So if you're not sure how to use our channel, that's really how to use it. If you're looking to build a stronger back, bigger shoulders, bigger arms, there's tons of great exercises in those playlists for you. Fantastic. So I just wanted to start with that because we are getting a lot of new subscribers every week. And thank you guys for subscribing. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But today we're going to get into the importance of supplements and how they aid with muscle growth. And this actually complements one of James's series that are going on right now really well. So why don't you tell everyone about your series that's going on?
The Mass series is, I think it's going on right now. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, the first one aired Friday. So it's the best exercise to build the most mass. So like I said, we're getting into bulking season. Check this series out. You want to get big, you want to put on some mass. I'm showing you the exercises to do it.
Right. And so in today's live video, we're going to talk about some supplements that can help be a companion towards that goal. So we're going to go through things like creatine, whey protein, BCAAs, like a very long list of supplements and how they contribute to muscle gains, what the benefits are, how you dose them and time them, and which ones are our favorites. Yeah. So it's going to be a fun topic.
Absolutely. And I want to hear y'all's favorites. If you have a favorite supplement, let me know what it is.
Definitely. And I see we have several people watching now. So if you have any questions unrelated to muscle building supplements, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Like we are here for you. So you can ask anything you want and we'll get an answer for you. So in terms of the role of supplements and nutrition, it's pretty key when it comes to muscle building. You can only eat so much and your body still needs more. There's a lot of shortcomings sometimes. And that's the role of supplementing, as the word indicates. You're supplementing what you're already doing. So
real food's always better. 100% real food is going to be better. However, it's not very easy to eat 300 grams of protein. You're not going to get 5 grams of creatine from your food, y'all. If you ever looked it up, it's something like 8 pounds of red meat you got to eat to get 5 grams of creatine. So these things supplement your real food.
Right.
And they are convenient in replace of your real food. But they're not magic. Nothing's magic out there. You still got to bust your butt and you still got to be consistent. Don't think you can just take a glass of creatine and get swelled up.
Right. I think a lot of times, just as a society in America anyway, like our diet's not that great. We have a lot of processed food. We're not eating a lot of nutrient dense foods, unless you're bodybuilders, then you maybe are focused on that. So, we are talking about athletically trained individuals. So hopefully you are eating that really well-rounded diet. You're getting proper nutrition as much as you can from the food. But like James said, you're still going to fall short.
Yes, you are.
And you are going to have to supplement in order to have that optimal condition for building muscle.
Right. Supplements to me is like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. If you're missing one piece of that puzzle, you're deficient.
Right.
You're deficient in some nutrient out there. Ashwagandha. Kylie takes ashwagandha. All right.
All right, Kylie, tell us what ashwagandha is and what you use it for, maybe.
What the heck?
Let's
is
share that with the
ashwagandha?
audience, because I think that's a new one or a new trend I've been seeing, especially on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, so you want to get into actual supplements now?
Sure. So you tuned in to see the top growth supplements. So let's get rock and roll. I'm gonna tell you my number one, creatine.
Yeah, definitely creatine. You know, it's a naturally occurring compound in your muscle cells that helps produce energy during high intensity exercises.
Yep.
But the key there, a lot of people, it's funny, like when I ask them, are you taking creatine? They're like, oh no, I'm not taking creatine. And it's like, well, but your body produces it anyway, and it uses it to form that energy and help you work out. So the problem is though, if you are actually working out like a true bodybuilder and you're progressive overloading, your intensity's there, you know, you probably are not, you don't have enough creatine available in your body to really keep the intensity up during some of those grueling workouts.
I've come across this as well. You know, are you taking creatine? Oh no, I'm natural. Wait a minute, dude.
Creatine is natural.
Creatine's already in your body. What do you mean you're natural? But people have this thought that they say, oh, creatine takes you off the natural course, which it doesn't, and puts you on an unnatural course like steroids would. So wrong.
Right.
It's an amino acid and it's naturally occurring already in your body. The problem is it's such small doses. You need to supplement.
Yeah, it's really great at enhancing mass as well as strength.
We have a lot out there all about creatine.
Yeah, we do.
By far, in my opinion, the best supplement out there.
So yeah, not only does it help with gaining mass and strength, but it helps with recovery too, and reducing inflammation and helping to repair some of the cell damage that occurs from heavy lifting.
Helps with cognitive abilities, y'all. I mean, you can't beat creatine.
One of the things that you'll notice within probably a week of using creatine is that your muscles will look fuller. They will start to draw some fluid inside the cells, which helps pump them up and look bigger.
You're probably going to gain a few pounds.
You gain a few pounds, but you're not going to keep gaining it. So don't worry about that or anything like that.
And you should gain a few pounds. So don't, if you're stressing out, you know, putting a pound on, maybe don't do creatine.
But yeah, if you're looking to do a competitive bodybuilding show and you are not taking creatine, you are doing yourself a disservice. So that's usually the first thing we ask our bodybuilding clients. Are you taking creatine? Great. When can you get to the store? Like, go ahead and put this in your Amazon cart because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, this is cheap too. I mean, it's how many services in there? 200.
Yeah,
and it's $12, yo.
It's a lot. It's a little more than that for this size. This is a big one, but yeah, it's pretty cheap, relatively cheap for how much benefit it has for your body.
And Camille and I both dip out of that and it lasts forever.
It does last forever. So in terms of like actual dosing, you know, if you're just starting off, you know, you can do a preload phase, about 20 grams for the first couple of days or so. But that's not really needed. You know, you can just take the 5 grams, 3 to 5 grams recommended per day.
Keep it simple, y'all. Just take 5 grams every day.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Keep the creatine in your body. Keep it in your system. 5 grams every day.
I know some of my clients too are concerned about things like hair loss, renal damage, all of that. That's been just debunked. Creatine out of all the supplements that we could talk about for bodybuilding is the most researched, the most studied. And so unless you are completely abusing this supplement, you're not going to have any hair loss, no kidney damage, nothing of the sort. So nothing to worry about there. All right. Anything else on creatine? How does it make you feel? Like, can you tell a difference when you cycle off a creatine? Because sometimes when we go on vacation, we won't pack this in our luggage. So we won't take it for a few days and we're still hitting workouts wherever we are.
So unfortunately, and I said this during our creatine video that we did, I do not feel creatine. You know, there is a percentage of the human race that produces enough creatine that they don't have to supplement. I might be one of those blessed people because I've never felt anything from creatine. Do I take it? Of course I take it. Look at the studies. I'm not going to miss out on that. But do I feel a boost? No. Do I feel maybe a little bit fuller, maybe a fuller muscle, but that's going to be about it.
Yeah, I think I kind of on the recovery side noticed a little bit of a difference, especially if I'm hitting back to back to back workouts. I definitely have to have the creatine. Like if I cycle off of this for a couple weeks, like I think we had gone to Spain, we didn't have this, and I definitely could notice as we were hitting some of those workouts that I wasn't hitting the same rep ranges and things. Like I felt fatigued. So I was probably creating damage and just not, recovering fast enough. So that was our first supplement. As James said, I would probably say it is the #1 supplement if you're looking to add mass to your physique.
You can't beat creatine, man. I mean, we're going to get the protein, and I'll tell you why in a second, but creatine is definitely #1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without question, #1.
So #2 is going to be your protein supplement. So that could be whey protein, casein protein, maybe even your plant-based proteins, but there's a big caveat there. But basically you need to supplement protein because we want to provide the essential amino acids that are the building blocks of your muscle tissue.
Yes. You break down the muscle when you work out. You rebuild it when you rest and eat and recover. You need amino acids to recover your muscles, rebuild your muscles. Protein breaks down into amino acids. Why is protein #2? Because it sounds like it should be #1.
It's a good question, James. Why did you put it in #2?
I have protein in #2 because you can eat your protein with real food. You should only use the powder for convenience. Like I said, 300 grams of protein is pretty tough to get in, but it's doable. 100% can be done with food, but it's easier if you supplement.
Yeah, I agree with him. So he's bulking right now, so he can eat, a lot of calories. So he probably can hit a protein dose, although his daily protein required is pretty high, so that could still be a challenge. I, on the other hand, am in like a cutting phase, so it is very hard for me to eat all of the required protein that I need to get in for a day. So having whey protein or something to supplement with is very helpful to me. That's
a great point. When your calories are restricted, it's tough to eat, 5 steaks to get your protein in. You're gonna blow your fat and your calories out of the roof, right? The protein's low calorie, low carb, low fat. Good point.
Yeah, and I see we have a question. Yeah, Tina Zimmerman said, what do you think of glutamine? It's a must. Yes, I like glutamine. We actually will get to that later in the thing, but it's really good for recovery. It's even good for like immune system health and all that. So we will come back to that, Tina, if you can be patient with us. But yeah, going back to protein, the one thing about supplementing with protein, they're not all created equal. So I think we had a whole video on the biological value, the BV value of different proteins. One of the good ones is going to be your whey protein, right?
This is called gold standard for a reason, yeah. It is. I mean, it's the standard, in my opinion. As far as proteins go, this is the standard.
So that's one of my favorites that I'll take and supplement throughout the day just to make sure I'm hitting all of the grams of protein I need to help support muscle building, recovery, and all that good stuff.
There's only 4 carbs and no fat in that shake. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. You can also take casein protein. It's going to be more of your slow absorbing. The whey protein, which I didn't mention, is very rapid, fast absorbing. So if you're trying to push those nutrients into your muscles, like right after working out, which we had a whole topic on that now. That one would be a good one, whereas the casein would be better if, say, overnight or something like that, or if you're going a long period of time.
Correct. You take it before bed. That way you got a protein drip feeding you all night long.
Right. So the key thing with the whey proteins is you want to look at whether it actually has essential amino acids in it in a complete amino acid profile. Sometimes as companies try to kind of make the product less expensive, they'll take some of that out of the product and you won't actually realize it because it'll cost the same as everything else on the shelf.
They're definitely not going to tell you. And this is where a lot of plant-based proteins come up short. They're not complete proteins.
Yeah, like your soy, your pea, your hemp proteins. You definitely have to look at the back of the package and see whether they add some of those essential amino acids back into it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think all in all, protein powders are convenient. It's a high source of quality protein for you. And then based on whatever your dietary restrictions are, there's probably a protein that you can use.
Yeah, get a good one, y'all. I mean, the key that Camille just said was high quality.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going and getting, sawdust, it's not going to help you out much. And believe me, I was a very broke young man buying the cheapest stuff out there, and it ended up in the toilet. So it's not even worth spending the money to get the cheap stuff. Get the good stuff.
Right.
I mean, don't even waste your money on the cheap stuff.
I mean, you bring up a good point. So a lot of times the proteins can cause like some GI distress there, kind of in and out. So you need to make sure you're getting a quality protein, and it won't do that.
It's a good indicator that you don't have one if you're running to the bathroom right after you slam your shake down.
But yeah, your protein should be high quality, so high BB value, easily digestible, easily mixable.
Yeah.
And hey, I think it should have to taste great, right? No one is trying to, choke down some chalky, gritty protein.
I don't care about the taste. I'm old school. Everything used to taste nasty. So if it tastes good, that's just a bonus.
Yeah, for me, and I've tried a lot of proteins, the Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey is the best for all of those reasons we just said. But there's actually a bonus reason where I really like this Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard. And it's right down here on the bag. It says that it has, I can't point, 5.5 grams of branched chain amino acids.
Boom.
And that brings me to supplement number 3
Hey.
for maximizing mass.
BCAAs.
BCAAs. So they get their name from their structure. They're kind of like in this branchy chain, and that's why they're called that. But they're comprised of 3 amino acids specifically. That's your leucine, isoleucine, and valine.
Yeah. They are responsible for unlocking your mTOR pathways. So I highly suggest you get some BCAAs in your post-workout.
All right. Tell them why they care about their mTOR pathways.
That is the path to rebuilding your muscles, yo. That
Yes.
is the biological step that your body takes. It says, all right, we got to rebuild this now.
Right.
It's been broke. It's been damaged. We need to go fix it.
Yeah. And the thing about BCAAs, and we'll talk a little more about this in a little bit, though, they're actually essential amino acids, those 3 in particular, and our bodies don't produce those.
So yes, any essential amino acid is an amino acid your body does not produce. So if you don't get it from a supplement or from your diet, you will not get it.
Right.
That's why they're essential. That's why you have to supplement to get them.
Yeah, and so BCAAs really aid with reducing muscle soreness as well as fatigue. They help enhance protein synthesis, as we were talking about with the mTOR pathways. And I even think that they can help improve exercise performance as
BCAAs,
well. Mm-hmm.
I can feel recovery whenever I take the BCAAs. I recover a lot faster.
Right. We have a question.
Angel.
Hi, Angel. I understand taking protein on a bulk, but do you really need to take protein supplement on a cut?
You don't ever have to take protein. You can get it from your diet, but it's much more convenient when you're on a cut because, like you said, I can eat 8 steaks. I'm bulking, right?
Right.
That would give me my 300 grams of protein, but my fat and my calories are going to be through the roof.
Yes.
If I did 8 shakes, my fat and my calories are still very low, but I still got 300 grams of protein in.
Yeah, James absolutely hit it. Like when you are cutting, your goal is to shed body fat without wasting muscle. So you definitely have to keep your protein number high during the cut. And like James said, if you were eating chicken, fish, steaks, let's just say, or maybe eggs, your fat number is going to skyrocket through the roof. And, every gram of fat is 9 calories. So over time, you're going to bust your caloric intake for the day, meaning you're no longer at a deficit. So you're no longer able to lose weight. And so that's where having a protein shake really helps you hit the protein number, but not compromise on the overall caloric deficit.
Right.
So it's a great question, Angel.
It is a good question. It's a lot easier to get your protein from food while you're bulking than it is when you're cutting.
Yeah.
Great
absolutely.
question. Great question.
Anything else on BCAAs before we go into more of the EAAs?
Did we go over dosage?
No. I mean, 5 to 10 grams, I think is great.
I think 5 to 10 is recommended.
Yeah, that's the recommended range. I think the one thing though, you do need to look at all of your packages. You might be getting BCAAs from different sources, not really realizing it. So a great example, that whey protein we just showed you had 5.5 grams of BCAAs in it. We have some other pre-workouts and things that have BCAAs in them. So you might be getting your 5 to 10 grams without having to have a separate BCAA supplement. Just something to consider for you guys.
Commando Slayers on. Welcome back, baby. He said, what advice would you give to a woman who doesn't want to get buff and wants to have curves? How should she train the lower and upper body? You want to handle this?
I get that all the time. So usually clients will come to me and they say, I want a firm and tone. And that's a great way of kind of describing, hey, I want curves and to look muscular, but I don't want to look like a buff man, right? Really, you work out the same way, Commando Slayer. Like, I hate to say it, but it's not really that different. In order for you to get truly bulky, it takes years and years of like grueling training, and you're just not going to achieve that necessarily.
I'll break it down for you. So I get this question a whole lot as well, and I get the, oh, I don't want to get too muscly all the time. As long as the females stay away from the male hormones, you have nothing to worry about. If they start dabbling into the male hormones, now they're going to start looking like a man.
I mean, that's something to talk about. So some of our viewers are older. They're females. They may be doing like hormone replacement therapy because as we age, we get more estrogen and the like. And so if you are trying to balance those hormones, that is the potential. But for most of the people that come out there and come to us and say, I just want to firm and tone, I don't really change how they're working out. They're doing the same workout, maybe not realizing it. And as they shed body fat, they're liking what they see. So it's really not all that different.
I'm going to say it again. As long as they stay away from the male hormones, they can train extremely, extremely hard and will not look like a man for years and will still not look like a man. It's when they cross that line and start taking male hormones, start growing facial hair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's when they start looking like a man. That's when they're going to get too muscly.
I mean, another point too, though, like as anybody sheds more and more body fat and gets down to essential body fat level, it's a harsher look.
It is hard to look.
The less body fat you have on you, the more striations you can see in the muscles, the more gritty and grainy it looks. So if you want a softer look, you just need to have a higher body fat level. Right. So nothing to do with like how much weights you're lifting. It would be more so of a body fat thing. So I would tell them, hey, let's not diet down as harsh.
You're also not going to lose your curves unless you diet down too harsh. Right. And that was in the question as well.
Yeah.
Michael, is it better to get your protein over 5 or 6 meals than 3 large ones? Great question.
This is a great question. So up until like a couple of years ago, I would say, yeah, Michael. But then there were some studies that came out that showed that you can handle a lot more protein than you thought. Because originally it was somewhere between like 30 and 50 grams per serving. But they're finding that people can handle 90, 120. Your body doesn't just expel it out. It saves it and uses it later when it needs it. So just, yeah, it's interesting.
And it digests a lot slower than what people originally thought as well. That was the whole reason to eat 5 or 6 times a day, because you're digesting it, then it's gone.
Right.
Well, there's been studies that protein's feeding your body for up to 6-7 hours, not 1 to 2 or even 3.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's personal preference at this point, but you can definitely do it in your 3 large meals.
Native Greg.
Hey!
Thoughts on power cleans and a good alternative, if not mobile enough, for front rack position?
That's a good one.
I mean, I guess, Native Greg, why are you doing the power clean specifically? So answer that back for us real quick. What's the goal there?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You can probably find an alternate, whatever you're trying to target, but I don't know if there's an alternate to power cleans.
Right.
That's a very technical lift, Olympic lift. That's going to be a hard supplement.
All right. EAAs, y'all. Essential amino acids. So unlike the BCAAs, which were 3 specific amino acids, the EAA profile is a little broader. There's actually 9 amino acids that the body can't produce. and they have to be obtained through your diet or supplementation. And as James pointed out, it would be next to impossible to get enough of these 9 essential amino acids through eating. Really, the only way you're going to get this is through supplementing with something, pill or powder. And I would say if you are athletically trained, you're trying to add mass, you need it. You definitely need it. It's not something I think you can get away with not having.
We shot with this one could be ranked higher actually because you can't get it unless you supplement with it. So keep that in mind. You're going to be deficient if you don't have an EAA supplement or you're not taking a complete protein.
Right.
Just keep that in mind. Very important. You don't want to be deficient in any nutrient.
Yeah. And so the 9 EAAs do include the 3 BCAAs. So if you have a supplement and it says it has EAAs in it, you are covered for the BCAAs.
You already knocked them out.
I would go ahead and list all 9, but some of them, I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce. But yeah, I think it's necessary for a synthesis of new protein in the body. And it's vital for muscle growth, muscle repair, and even overall health. A lot of those amino acids are good for other things and bodily functions, not just protein synthesis.
They got a punch too. There's no caffeine in them, but they will give you some energy as well.
Actually, the ones that James has there that he just showed you, these are some of our favorites. Primeval Labs makes this one, and they actually make a caffeine version and a non-caffeine. So sometimes what I'll do is, like, if I'm working out at lunchtime, like, I've probably already had quite a bit of caffeine for the day, so I don't really want as hard of a punch as like pre-workout, but I still want something to pick me up and prime me for my workout. So I'll do the caffeine version of that EAs, and they definitely have a punch, y'all. They definitely do.
Same. You know, if I'm working out at lunchtime and I went through my pre-workout already, then I'm grabbing the caffeinated EAs, and that's my pre-workout.
Right. But yeah, they're also great for things like hormone production, immune function, hydration, even like, you know, that kind of neuromuscular efficiency, like the neurotransmitter regulation. So all really good things. Like if you find yourself kind of feeling sluggish before you work out, or even just throughout your day, like those essential amino acids can help give you a punch and get a better workout in. In terms of dosing, it's the same as the BCAAs because they are BCAAs too, 5 to 10 grams per day. And maybe if you are truly hitting those like intense workouts, you might need as much as 10 to 15 a day. So maybe you take that a couple times a day. Or if your protein has it, you know, they're just separate servings. So just something to consider. How many grams actually does it tell you on this? I don't know if it tells you. Well, it does say it has a 2:1:1 BCAA ratio.
That's where you want your BCAAs.
So other than that, I'm not sure. It's too fine print to read on here.
I need to upgrade my glasses. That's why I didn't even try you, because I can't read that.
I guess I need to make an appointment, y'all. That's what he's really saying.
I could take a picture of the label and blow it up. Then I can read it. But right now, no chance.
All right. So now I want to talk more specifically about some certain like amino acids, specifically beta-alanine. So I think this is a really important one if you're trying to gain mass. It's a non-essential amino acid.
Hold on. How many of y'all heard of beta-alanine? I bet not a lot, and I guarantee you it's in your pre-workout.
I was going to say, like, maybe you haven't, but maybe you have if you read your labels.
I guarantee you if you have pre-workout, beta-alanine is in your pre-workout.
Right. So, yeah, it helps delay muscle fatigue, which gives you more endurance to hit those high-intensity exercises. So it's just about in every single pre-workout that you find.
It keeps the lactic acid burn. It delays it. So you can keep going, and that burn doesn't come on so fast.
Right. Now, do you think they're all kind of created equal? Like, actually, we have 2 pre-workouts here. So let me see the bottles. Let's see how much beta-alanine's in each one of these. All right. So the Superhuman has about 1,600 milligrams of beta-alanine per scoop. Whereas this War Potion has 1,600. All right. So they're equal.
Same.
So that's good to know. At least they're kind of created equal there.
That's more than likely your serving size. 1.6 grams or 1,600 milligrams.
Yeah. So yeah, you can maybe split that into higher doses if you're taking 2 scoops versus 1, but you got to be careful on the pre-workout just because it has caffeine in it. So that's probably your limiting factor when considering how much to take. But have you ever taken it not in a pre-workout? Because I haven't. I'd be curious if anyone listening has taken it in another form other than pre-workout, if you drop us a comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, great supplement. I think, it's an absolute must if you're talking about trying to like fend off that lactic acid burn, which, like if you can keep going, that's great. But that's a kind of interesting one because a lot of people use that lactic acid burn as a gauge for their intensity level. So it's kind of interesting if you're taking a bunch of beta-alanine and you're not getting that burn, how you still gauge that intensity.
You're going to failure, I assume. It might not burn, but you're going to go till you can't go anymore.
Right.
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, in fact, sometimes my clients get that when training arms. They'll be like, it doesn't necessarily burn, but like something's wrong. Like my arm won't move anymore when I'm doing those tricep push downs or curls. It's like they get to the stopping point. So I guess it is possible to do that.
Sure.
All right. So Tina, I hope you're still on because we're going to talk about glutamine finally.
Glutamine!
Yes, so glutamine is an amino acid and it plays a role in muscle recovery as well as immune function. And it really helps to replenish your glycogen stores. So I think that's really helpful during intense exercise.
Agreed. Glutamine, if you were around in the 90s, got a lot of hype, huge hype. And then it kind of fizzled out in the 2000s because glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in your body. Your body produces glutamine, and it is the most abundant amino acid in your body. However, when you're breaking down your body like we do in bodybuilding, you should still supplement with glutamine.
What would you recommend in terms of what form to take the glutamine in? Just
like creatine, it's powder, it's cheap, it's flavorless, it's odorless. You can throw it right in your shake.
Right.
Just like creatine.
All right. Beta-alanine makes native grades.
Yeah, that's when you know it's go time, when your face starts burning, baby. Yeah, that's pretty common with pre-workouts, especially if you've never, or you have a friend who has never done pre-workout. Please tell them before they start drinking it, your face is going to burn. It's normal. It's going to itch. It's normal. Don't think something's wrong.
I like that feeling. I don't know. I guess I'm a weird one, but.
So you heard me. That's when I know it's go time. So as soon as that tingling starts, let's go, baby. Let's go.
But yeah, since we're talking about pre-workouts, they are definitely not created equal. I guess you need to really think about what is it that you're trying to get out of your pre-workout and then look at the label to make sure it has whatever it is that you're looking. I think most people, when they think pre-workout, they're thinking caffeine. Like they're taking it because they're dragging ass and they want to get through a grueling workout.
Yes, that's the number one thing I look at, because if there's not enough caffeine in it, I don't care what else is in it, it's not going to work.
Right.
You're very welcome, Tina. Thanks for staying tuned for the glutamine.
Yeah, and they're definitely not created equal. I'm trying to look at this one, and they make it confusing for you guys, right? Because sometimes they'll call out caffeine, but a lot of times there's some kind of signature blend or something proprietary formula that they have some kind of stimulus baked into it. So it makes it
they don't want to give you the sauce, y'all. So they give you a proprietary blend, so you don't know exactly how much each one is in. But it's also a red flag. If a good company out there, they don't hide what they're putting in there, y'all.
Right. So like this Superhuman, which I actually really like this one. It's got about 165 milligrams of some type of stimulant. Doesn't really call out how much is caffeine and how much is the rest of their proprietary blend. So I guess this might be a red flag one. However, I do really like this one.
I like Superhuman.
And then this other one that I'm holding, I'm trying to find it. It's got about 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it doesn't say anything really about a proprietary blend. It actually breaks down all of the different nutrients and supplements on it.
No red flag.
I can say Total War is pretty strong. Like this one, it borderline makes me feel a little sick when I take it. So I take a little less than a scoop when I take this one. But I'm a little sensitive. I don't need that much caffeine to get up and get going. Whereas James, I think, needs a little more or likes a little more.
5150 is my favorite pre-workout, and it has 550 grams of caffeine in it.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, y'all. Like that would not be your beginner pre-workout.
It was No Explode for years, but No Explode got too weak. Native Grit said I used it before in my EAAs, but not anymore.
Okay.
Is it because it made your head itch? Because that's normal.
Right.
You shouldn't stop it because of that unless it's just too intense.
Right. So yeah, pre-workouts definitely have caffeine in them. But the other thing to look at the labels, they have beta-alanine. They have a lot of other really great supplements. Some of them are really good for fat loss. So that helps you gain lean muscle mass, right? With like you're gaining muscle mass, but not gaining a lot of fat at the same time, which is helpful.
If you have a good pre-workout, it's going to have beta-alanine. It's going to have creatine. It might have BCAAs. It's definitely going to have arginine.
Right.
I mean, those are the good things. That's what you want pre-workout.
Yeah. So definitely have to have your pre-workout. But it's not as high, I would say, as creatine, the whey protein, and the EAAs, but most people definitely require it. Sounds like Native Grit likes 5150.
Oh, man. Rich Piana, rest in peace. Used to love Rich. Used to love watching Rich. All right. GB92. Do you need to take creatine if it's in your workout? If your pre-workout has creatine? Great point. I just said if you have a good pre-workout, it's going to have creatine in it. Just check the dosage.
Right. So it may not be enough. Like on average, I'd say people need 3 to 5 grams a day.
3 to 5.
So if that's what's in your pre-workout, great. And I would say experiment with it a little bit, y'all. Like some people might require a little more, a little less. Just don't go wildly outside of the dosage range just to stay safe.
Right. And you covered it. If your pre-workout's got the 3 to 5 grams, you're good.
Yeah.
And most of them do, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at your bottle if you're taking pre-workout. And if you're not taking pre-workout, you should.
Most definitely. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about, which is kind of like an elephant in the room for supplements, are sleep aids. And it's funny, y'all, because people will take whatever you tell them to take. But the moment you say sleep aid, they're like, oh, no, I can't take that. I don't want to have it. Like, not taking that. But they'll take anything else under the sun if it's promised to help them with the gains.
Yeah, so I've said this before. I was watching Winning Strength, great YouTube channel, great guy, smart guy. He's a power lifter. He's not a bodybuilder, so keep that in mind. But he knows his stuff. And it was him who said, listen, if these guys, all these guys out there paid attention to sleep as much as they did as making gains, as much as they did as taking creatine, protein, pre-workout, if they paid as much attention to sleep, they would triple their gains.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a flying nothing about sleep, but without it, you're not getting anywhere. Without rest and recovery, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch on this channel. Like muscles are made in between the workouts, right? So what you do when you're away from the gym really matters. And if you are shortchanging your sleep, then you're not able to repair that tissue and grow stronger and bigger. So I think sleep's really important.
Agreed.
I understand everyone's concerns on like, hey, I don't want to take something that's habit forming.
I'm not telling you to take an Ambien, y'all. We're not talking about a prescription sleep drug here. We're just talking about some over-the-counter sleep aid.
Yeah, I mean, you could take like maybe some melatonin. That's gonna, help regulate your sleep and wake cycles. I think it basically just signals to your body, hey, dummy, it's time to go to sleep. So hopefully, you take that and you're actually ready to go to sleep. But improving that sleep quality can go a long way for sure.
It makes a difference. I mean, it makes such a difference, and nobody even thinks about it. Nobody talks about it. And believe me, at 48 years old, I need to sleep. I've had sleep issues my whole life. Taking something is helping a lot.
Yeah. So if you are taking like melatonin anywhere from like 0.5 to 5 milligrams right before bedtime, I think is the recommended dose. But look at your packaging, of course.
Native Grit said, try Transparent Labs Bulk Black. My man, it's lower caffeine.
I will look that up, Native Grit. I'll look it up.
If you want a lower caffeine pre-workout, Native Grit says try the bulk black, baby.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I see Big T.
Big T, what's up, baby? I saw you're at the beach, my man. Nice. Congrats, baby. Enjoy your time at the beach, Big T. Thanks for tuning in from the beach, my man.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of other kind of natural sleep aids, there's also valerian root. So this is just an herbal supplement that you can take. It helps to treat insomnia. It even helps with like anxiety too. So I think that's kind of helpful, and you could take anywhere from 300 to 600 milligrams, again, right before bedtime. One of the ones I really like taking at the moment is actually just magnesium. So this magnesium really helps like make signal that it's time to go to bed for me. So within like pretty much a half hour of taking this, like I'm starting to feel pretty sleepy. So it really helps with stay asleep too, actually.
So yeah, Camille talked me into taking these about 3 weeks ago, probably or so. My problem is not going to sleep, is staying asleep. So usually I wake up, unfortunately, about every 2 hours.
Right.
A lot of times I can't go back to sleep. However, since I've been taking this, I've been able to go back to sleep.
It's interesting. So it actually promotes relaxation, but it helps to regulate your neurotransmitters that are involved in sleep. So that's probably why he's able to stay asleep or go back to sleep, because he's not firing those off like crazy, keeping him awake.
And MSM has been around forever in the bodybuilding world. This is straight magnesium. It's not MSM. But if you go to GNC or Vitamin Shop, you will find MSM. If you go on wherever, MSM has been around forever.
The only thing with MSM, and so I switched from that to this, is it was causing some upset stomach a little bit. Whereas I think this helps a little bit with this. This also helps with muscle cramps and things too. So it's got other benefits as well. Like, so if you're lying awake at night and like a calf's locking up or something, this could help you there too.
And you can't argue with results. And like I just told you, I've been able to go back to sleep. I'm sleeping in. I mean, it's going to sound crazy, but I'm sleeping in until 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's better than 1:30.
Which normally it's around 12:31. I start waking up. I can't go back to sleep. But now the 12:31, I still wake up, but I'm going back to sleep until 3. So
right.
Fantastic. Big T, he's been using Jocko supplements past months. Has very clean ingredients in their stuff. Very good, brother. Very good. That's a good point. You know, supplements aren't created equal. If you can find one that's third-party tested, you're doing that much better because, well, this study is very dated now, probably 20 years, unfortunately. But they went into Walgreens, Walmart, and another store, bought supplements, tested them, and nothing on the label was in the bottle.
That's bad, y'all.
That is bad.
Hopefully they cleaned that up since that study was done.
I hope so too. It was 20 years ago, but the supplements are not regulated. You got to remember that. If it says nutrition supplement, it is not regulated. It's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but it's not regulated. So they, you know, nobody's checking to see what's in the label, what's in the bottle, unless somebody goes into the stores, like I said. And unfortunately, not one company, not one supplement had exactly what was on the label in the bottle.
Yeah, James kind of jumped ahead, but in terms of tips for choosing supplements, you absolutely want to look for that third-party tested kind of label on the supplement. That way you definitely know you're getting what is advertised on the bottle. You also want to make sure you read the label so you understand everything that's in it. As we talked about, like if your pre-workout's got BCAAs and creatine, you know, you might end up overdosing, because not overdosing in the literal sense, but taking more than the recommended dose because it's also in your whey protein. It's, you know, you're supplementing with creatine by itself, that kind of thing. But not, go ahead.
There was a scandal a couple years ago, if you remember, Blackstone and what was the other one? Another company, their CEOs got arrested because they were spiking their protein powder with steroids. They were grinding up D-ball and they were putting it, knowingly putting it into their protein powder. They're in, both of them are in jail right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of it, look it up. Blackstone Labs is one. I can't remember. Redcon one. Thank you, Big T. Redcon one is the other one. Both CEOs are sitting in jail. They might still be in jail, but they were knowingly grinding up steroids and putting it in the protein powder. Another reason you get third-party tested. I would hate for a natural athlete to go into a natural competition thinking they're taking protein powder and then piss hot and get embarrassed and hang their head.
Well, they wouldn't be able to compete again for like 7 years. So it would ruin their bodybuilding career, actually.
Their natural career would be over at that point, unfortunately. And that's why the CEOs are sitting in jail. But remember, these aren't regulated. There could absolutely be another company out there doing it right now.
Yeah, but outside of that, reading the label is also important just for serving size. Like, so this magnesium, for instance, the bottle says 425 milligrams on the front. So like in your mind, you're like, okay, 1 capsule, 425, but it's actually not. When you read the back, it says 2 capsules is what you need to get to the 425 milligrams serving size.
Yeah.
So serving size can kind of trip you up a little bit if you don't read the label.
Oh, what was the company? Muscle Tech. Oh my goodness, they're famous for it, baby. You get a bottle of Muscle Tech protein, it's this big. It's large, right? It's huge. You open it up, it's half empty. And then you got to take 7 scoops for 1 serving. You're going, Muscle Tech, what the heck are you doing to me, man? Oh, they did that all the time. I couldn't stand it. I don't buy Muscle Tech anymore, even if it's even out there anymore. I don't, for that reason.
All right. So really, those are our top muscle building supplements that we recommend that you take. So hopefully this was very informative for you guys. Remember, our first and foremost one was creatine monohydrate, the #1 supplement. If you're trying to add mass and you're not taking it, I really am curious if you're not taking it. Drop me a line on why you're not taking it, because it's the most studied, the most researched supplement out there.
The safest and yields the best results. So that would be #1. We have #2 being your protein. And remember what we said, not all proteins created equal. You really want to make sure it has a complete amino acid profile to it. High quality protein.
High BV value. And be careful if you're taking plant-based proteins, because they may or may not have a complete amino acid profile. In fact, they probably don't unless they added something to it.
Pay attention, y'all. This is important. You know, we're talking about supplements. You don't want to miss any piece of that puzzle.
Right. Next, we talked about your branched chain amino acids and your essential amino acids. These are really good building blocks for repairing and adding tissue. So you want to make sure you're getting those in. And remember, the EAAs, your body doesn't produce them. So you have to either eat it or supplement. And remember what we said, it's almost impossible to eat that much from actual food.
You're going to have to do some serious research on the 9 essential amino acids and what food has them and how much food you have to eat to get the proper dosage. Just take the supplement.
Right. And then from there, we talked about pre-workout.
Hey.
We said that they were awesome in terms of like creating that stimulus to give you the intensity that you need, but they also have other things like beta-alanine, which was really important as well.
Creatine.
They have creatine and all sorts of things that are really going to help you through that high intensity exercise.
Listen, y'all, do yourself a favor. Get pre-workout. How many times are you sitting around going, man, I'm tired. I don't want to go to the gym. Get some pre-workout. You will want to move. As soon as you start drinking this pre-workout, y'all, do yourself a favor. I just overheard some guys at work. Dude said, I'm not motivated, man. I'm not motivated at all. All I do is take my pre-workout. And then I go, bam, ready to go. But prior to that pre-workout, you're not going to want to go. I think I already told this story. You know, I used to take a nap every day in the middle of the day, right around lunch. Well, when I started working on post, lunchtime was my workout time, and I'm just ready. I slept at lunch for 10 years. So
must be nice.
I'm ready to take that nap. Do I need to go over my schedule?
No, I know your schedule.
So I'm sitting at work, yawning, getting ready to take the nap, and I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to go get a workout right now? Well, 2 scoops later, I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, I see we have a question from Harris. How much time is required to build a great physique?
Great question. There's too many variables to answer that, but that is a great question, Harris. Just remember, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out.
It also depends, Harris, kind of like your starting point, right? So novices, like straight off the couch, will add muscle mass and things a lot quicker than someone that's a more advanced lifter. But in on average, I would say if you're looking to add substantial mass, it would take probably 2 years. So 2 years and then reassess, 2 years, reassess. So it can take some time the more advanced you become.
You're genetically predisposed, so your genetics is going to play a whole lot into that as well. But keep in mind, average, and this is average, you could be better than average, you could be worse than average. Average person puts on 8 pounds of muscle a year.
Right.
Doesn't sound like a lot, right? But 8 pounds of muscle is a lot.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and go for 2 years.
Right.
That's 16 pounds of
Right.
muscle. That is a lot of muscle, y'all.
Absolutely. All right, back to the recap. So when we were talking about pre-workouts specifically, we were talking about the beta-alanine and the glutamine. So the beta-alanine is what prevents or delays that lactic acid burn. So, and from an endurance standpoint, it allows you to keep going without having that burn in your muscle. And then the glutamine, that was also helpful for replenishing the glycogen stores, because as we work out, we are using that glycogen to give us energy to be able to work out. So we want to make sure that we're replenishing that.
It also helps with recovery. I mean,
Absolutely.
glutamine is the number one acid, amino acid to help you recover as well.
All right.
It's all good stuff. I mean, it's great stuff. We wouldn't tell you any supplement to take that we thought wasn't worth taking. Let me think for a minute, see if I can think of any. Can you think of any that's not worth taking?
I'll have to think. Not in terms of building mass. I think there's some, if we were talking fat loss, that are just hype and you don't really need to take. But when it comes to building mass, I think these are the main ones kind of universally accepted.
I got one.
Yeah?
Weight gainer.
Oh.
How come we didn't bring up weight gainer for mass building, y'all?
What would you define as weight gainer?
So you can go to the store and literally order weight gainer. It says weight gainer on the bottom, right? So you can do that. I mean, but however, look at the label.
Right.
It's loaded with fat or it's loaded with sugar.
Right. Like you're probably just eating a bowl of dextrose.
You're eating empty calories. The fat is not helping you at all, and neither is the sugar.
I just thought of the movie Mean Girls, when the girl gives the other girl that weight gainer bar. She's trying to diet. But anyways.
I had a client take a weight gainer. He brought the bottle in, and after we looked at the bottle, studied the bottle, he wanted to throw up because the only thing good in there is the protein.
Right.
The rest of the stuff they throw in there to make it a weight gainer, it's just crap. I mean, it's nothing good for your body. So save your money and just buy the protein. If you want to gain weight, eat carbs.
Yeah.
Don't get it from a shake. Eat your carbs if you want to gain weight. Do a protein shake and then eat some pasta, eat some rice, eat some bread.
It'd be a lot more enjoyable anyway, especially this time of year.
Absolutely. You know, I tell anybody who wants to gain weight, pasta and bread, pasta and bread, pasta and bread. You can throw the weight gainers in the trash.
Right.
And when I was a kid, unfortunately, I didn't know any better, so I would take weight gainers like crazy.
What do you think about milk? A lot of people will be like, yeah, eat loaves of bread and gallons of milk if you want to gain weight.
I could see it, you know, if you're bulking and you want, but there's better things.
There's definitely better things.
There are better things than milk. However, it's not the worst thing out there for you, and especially if you're bulking and you want the calories, the protein, and the carbs. It's all coming with milk.
Thank you, God.
So it's not the worst thing out there. It's also natural, so you get a natural supplement. You're not even supplementing, really. It's natural food. But again, you can do better than milk.
All right. And the last supplement we talked about, the underdog supplement, your sleep aids. So those are things like, you know, your valerian root, your melatonin, your magnesium. You know, it shouldn't have a negative stigma with taking sleep aids. Like, muscles are built in the time in between gym sessions, and the quality of your sleep plays such a pivotal role in muscle recovery, repair, and protein synthesis that I can't stress enough that if you're not getting quality sleep, you're not going to have massive muscles.
Yes. I mean, we talk about rest and recover. You can lay there and rest all day long, but if you're not asleep, it's not the same. Trust me, I've tried. I've laid there all night before trying to rest. It is not the same. You got to go unconscious. Your body has to repair itself while it's unconscious. We got another question. If I have a body fat of 20 to 25, what do you recommend that what should be my approach? What's the goals? Harris, I need to know your goals, baby. I don't know where to steer you if I don't know where you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were maybe talking about the best, like top physique or competitive kind of looking physique. So where to go from there. It all kind of depends. I think it depends on how much actual lean muscle mass you have and what you look like at that body fat percentage.
What you're doing right now, what you need to change, what you need to add, what you need to subtract. Your body fat didn't tell me too much. 22 to 25%, I think is pretty average.
Yeah. So you could look pretty good there, Harris. But yeah, we're talking like bodybuilding physiques. If they're male, it'd be significantly lower than that at like a peak stage weight.
You're talking about stage body fat. You're going down to 4%.
Right. But I would say even like an 8 to 10 would be a nice kind of like summer beach body kind of look. Let's see. Main goal is gain, but I'm afraid about fat. You know, Harris.
Very legit.
It's very legit. And I think when people say bulking, they usually are thinking about a dirty bulk where they're just like eating whatever. It's a lot harder to clean bulk.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead. You're bulking right now. So share kind of your experiences with this.
So the best advice I can give you, Harris, hopefully you've competed before. Your bulking weight is going to be 20 pounds over your stage weight. So I compete around 200 pounds. I'm coming up on my bulk weight. I'm 219. I have 1 more pound to gain. Then I'm at my bulk weight. I should maintain 220 because I don't want to get too fat. If I go over 220, I'm getting too fat. I'm getting too fluffy. There's no reason to go 20 pounds over your stage weight.
Well, and if you do and you have to take it back off, you run the risk of, it's that much harder, but you run the risk of actually wasting muscle along the way. And I'm a firm believer of that. I don't know if you are, but I'm a firm believer that you can actually burn muscle mass before body fat if the diet has to be that extreme. But yeah, I would say, you know, eat good quality foods. Make sure your supplementation's right. Make sure you're not your macros are in proportion with one another. You're not overeating any particular macronutrient. And I think it's a guessing game. You can't just be like, I'm bulking, I'm going to eat 4,000 calories. You need to maybe, you know, do a diet log, track what you're eating for a week, maybe add 200 to 500 calories and see what happens. Do you lose weight? Do you stay the same? Do you gain weight? And then add incrementally.
That's exactly how you do it. I mean, it's how you cut too. You know, you track everything and it's just numbers.
Right.
That's all it is. Native grit. In the 80s, I would eat 2.5 pounds of stew.
Oh, yeah.
With a half loaf of bread with peanut butter and almost a half a gallon of milk, and that's just for lunch. Holy smokes, Native grit. And did you go to bed after that? Because I sure would. Oh, my goodness. That is a lot of food. Good on you, man. I mean, you were probably like me back when I was a kid. I couldn't gain weight for nothing, so I tried to eat and consume
as much as you could,
anything and everything, just to try to put some weight on, put some size on. Skinny little kid, wanted to get big. We talked about bread and milk. Yeah,
I did the bread and milk diet.
I did that for a while. Whole loaf of bread and a gallon of milk while I was in the Army because it was free.
Yeah.
I could get it from the chow hall.
And thank you to whoever is hitting all of those hearts. Yes. I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for that. All right. Anything else to go through before we close it out?
Okay. Who are you talking to there, Harris?
Thanks. I've been talking to
Are they IFBB pros? Are they coaches? Is your goal to be a competitor? Who are you talking to? Do they have credentials? You just talking to people on the internet who don't know what to talk about.
So Harris, the other thing too is
50% pretty low.
I always question though the body fat percentages and where you're getting that from, because
and where you're getting them.
If you're getting it from your scale, that may not be an actual good representation because it'll fluctuate based on how much water is in your body.
Correct. Bioimpedance is not an accurate scale.
Right.
It is based on how much water is in your body. So if you're dehydrated, it's going to give you body fat no matter what, no matter how skinny you are.
Yeah, the only true way to do that, or I don't even know if it's a true way, but a better way to do that would be through a DEXA scan or something like that. So using low dose X-ray to measure bone density versus muscle density and other tissue.
Even the calipers have been proven to be not accurate. So it's tough to unless you're getting a DEXA scan or you're going into the tub where the water does it. then it's pretty tough.
And Harris, definitely, we have an email, we've got Instagram. So if you want to drop us a photo or something like that, like we can help guide you with that, because regardless of what the body fat percentage is, regardless of what the scale weight is, it's really about visually how do you look and where does that compare to the goal you're trying to get to.
Correct.
And what are you willing to get to? Like how much body fat are you willing to gain with the bulk to gain the muscle, and how much are you not?
And 15% is pretty low, man. I think average for male is 12.
Mm-hmm.
So you're barely over average. You're going to be pretty lean at 15 still. I mean, at 10%, I got a 6-pack at 10%.
Right.
So 15 is pretty low for bulk.
Right. So yeah, I would not get hung up too much on the numbers, and more of what does the physique look like versus where you're trying to take it.
Exactly.
and what you're willing to compromise on. I know for James, like he maybe could gain some more body fat in his bulk, but he's not willing to because he doesn't feel good about himself when he does. So
right. Excuse me, I'm just like you. I don't want to get fat.
Yeah.
Once I get a little too fluffy, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's huffing and puffing, going up like several flights of stairs. Like it just doesn't feel good on his frame. So
putting the shoes on a little difficult, right? Angel said, are you going to be competing this year? Are those days behind you? That's a great question, Angel. You can handle that. I'm good.
So for me, Angel, I plan to come out of my 3-year retirement there and actually compete now that I'm over 40. So that'll be fun. So look out for that sometime, probably late summer, early fall. And for James, I think time will tell. I mean, I'd be very curious to see him in that 50 and up class.
Yeah. So Angel, I'm 48 right now. If I do get the stage, it's going to be at 50, and I'll do a 50 and over one. I'm not 100% committed, but that idea has definitely been implanted in my brain. And I'm thinking about it. I'm actually training for it, but I'm not committing to saying I'm definitely going to do it. All right. Michael says, is there a formula for your height to figure out how much muscle you can build naturally?
I don't know.
Again, you're genetically predisposed to that. Your bone length will determine your muscle size. Right. So,
but people are not proportional. Like some are long torso, long femored, in the leg. So I think that would be not a very accurate guess, maybe.
That's not. And your genetics is going to be a bigger determination than your height. Your genetics and your effort will give you more determination than what your height will. I mean, Bumstead's what, 6'2"?
Right.
So he's a pretty tall dude. You know, I'm 5'10". I'm pretty tall for the bodybuilding world. I'm trying to think of some monsters. Lou Ferrigno. These are tall guys, man.
Yeah, I do think the taller you are, like the more you'll be able to build bigger muscles because you're taller. But
it'll take longer.
It'll take longer for sure.
But you can probably build bigger muscles with the longer bones.
Yeah.
All right. But it's definitely going to take longer than a shorter person.
Thanks for tuning in, GB92. I appreciate you. Time for football.
Football, baby. Yeah. It's kickoff. Who the Ravens playing today?
All right, y'all. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Sounds like you guys really enjoyed this topic.
Yep.
Let us know in a comment. Like, would you be curious to know the top supplements for weight loss? We spent a lot of time about muscle mass and gaining size. So if you would like to know the top supplements we recommend for shedding that body fat, we'd be happy to cover that. So let us know.
That sounds like next week's topic, or we can save it for springtime when you start your cut. Ooh.
Yeah, and so just a heads up, next week, I'm not really sure where we'll be at. We are actually going to our place in the mountains in West Virginia after Thanksgiving, so we'll probably be driving back. So depending on...
We might be coming to you from the road.
Yeah, depending on where we're at, and if we have signal, we will definitely tune in. But
we'll be home if it's up to James. We'll get out early enough to be home, but... If we're not, or if we get stuck in traffic, we'll hit you from the road. Just to recap on this one, supplements are not magic. There is no magic. That's why I love this sport. There is no cheat. There is no hack. But you can do, in 9 months what used to take a year.
Right.
That's what supplements do.
Don't have a missing puzzle piece, y'all. Angel says, I'm happy with working out every chance I get now. Not worried about putting on muscle, just happy keeping what I have and staying healthy. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Angel.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
I want to be like that 80-year-old woman, still able to get up, play with my grandchildren, drive, take long walks, hike, all that good stuff. So, functional strength is really important as well.
Yeah, our daughter is 23. We're ready for grandkids, Angel. And same thing.
I hope she hurries up.
I want to keep up with those grandkids. So same thing, man. I want to stay healthy. I want to be able to move.
Right.
I want to be able to pick them up. I want to be able to play, et cetera, et cetera. Great goals.
All right, everyone.
Thanks for staying tuned. We love you. Thanks for staying tuned. We're here for you.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye, everyone.